Okay, here we are with our note sheet. This is the back side of the note sheet because we finished the first side yesterday. The first problem asks us to graph an inequality, a sandwich inequality. So it's asking for all the values, again, that are between the two given values. This says 8 is greater than x, which is greater than or equal to negative 9. So I want all the values between 8 and negative 9. There's no equal to by the 8, so that is an open circle. We're not including the 8. There is an equal to by the negative 9, so we have to put a closed circle at negative 9, which would be halfway between negative 8 and negative 10. And then we need to shade indicating that all the values between those 2 points are part of the solution set. Okay? Now it's your turn. Pause and take a minute and try to work through the next 2 problems. Okay, again, you should be pausing at this point. Once you've completed these, go ahead and start it back up. Okay, the solutions to these should look like this. We want all the values between 0.3 and 4.25. So if I put my closed circle at 0.3 because there's an equal to there, and an open circle at 4.25, and I shade between. The second one says you want all the values between negative 7 and 7. Neither one of them have equal to, so we put open circles on both. And we shade between. So hopefully those 2 went well. Okay, now we're going to switch gears. Up until now, we've been drawing the graph. Now we're going to work backwards. We're going to say, this is the graph. We want to write the inequality that represents this graph. So we're going to take a moment and look at this carefully. We have an inequality or a graph that's drawn as a line segment. Those line segment graphs, if we think back to what we've been looking at, look either like these ones above, which came from a sandwich inequality, or they look like our and graphs. I do find the sandwich ones are the most straightforward to draw or to write out, so I'm going to go ahead and write it that way. I notice that in between the values 32 and 40, I also notice that there's open circles. When I write these, if I start with the smallest, we'll always use less than symbols. So 32 is going to be the smaller value. There's an open circle, so I'm going to just put a regular less than sign, not an equal to. Then we put our x in the middle, a second less than, and it goes all the way up to 40. I don't want to have an equal to because there was the open circle at 40. That compound inequality describes the graph that we have drawn for part A of number 8. Looking at B, unfortunately it's a little bit difficult to see, but we see our open circle, and it is shaded a little bit to the left here. And here we have a closed circle, and it's shaded to the right. To have those 2 different parts be part of our solution set, we need to have an OR inequality. The OR allows us to have 2 different parts. So I need to write the individual inequalities and separate them with the word OR. Looking at this inequality here on the left, this region on the left, it looks like we're halfway between negative 6 and negative 7, so that looks like negative 6.5. It's going to the left, so hopefully we all know that that's a less than. Open circle means no equality. So our first inequality is going to be written as x is less than negative 6.5. Then we need the word OR so that we can have both parts of the graph as part of our solution set. Looking at the second part, it starts at 2 and it goes to the right. It includes 2, so we can say x is, now going to the right means greater than or equal to 2. Okay, this graph can be described by that compound inequality. Okay, now it's your turn. Why don't you take a minute, pause, and then we'll start this up with a second video. So go ahead and complete these. Or I'm going to change my mind. Go ahead and pause your video and go ahead and complete number 9. Okay, hopefully you've already completed this. The compound inequality for part A, again, is between 2 values, so we could write it with an and. I'll write both solutions. There's the sandwich solution, which is an indication of an and, which would be written as negative 4 is less than or equal to x, which is less than 9. The other option, which would be a correct solution, is to say that x needs to be greater than or equal to negative 4, and that word and has to be there, x is less than 9. Okay, they mean the same thing. Either one of these would be a correct solution. You don't need to have both. Either one of those would be a correct solution. Then our second part, for part B of number 9, again has two pieces, so that needs to have an or so that I can indicate either one of those are correct. We have all the x values that are less than -5 or the x values that are greater than +5. Okay, there's not a second way to draw that one or to write that out. That would be the only way we can do that. Okay, I'm going to have you pause right now, and I want you to work on your practice 2. I want you to complete numbers 12 through 21. So our practice 2, you're going to work on number 12 through 21.